hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking straight, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. All right, if you missed the previous broadcast, please go back and watch that at your leisure. It's the latest on the Carmelo Anthony situation, the aftermath of the trial. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Hello, Greta, Bronze Flat Power God. Okay, Juju, LL is here. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Okay, 57 Beige Fox, Desmond, Mr. Elevation. All right. Shout out to my moderators. Y'all know they be putting in work. Nessa G. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. So we're about to get this party started. I see you, Andrea, beloved. Okay. Survive is here. Okay. We the people. Claudette, BB Scott. All right, Alice, I see you, beloved. So shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get ready to get into a Paul parody. I see you. Okay, Aquarius MC. All right, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from our sponsor, because you know we have to keep the lights on. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's go to these updates, because Trump is saying that Iran shot down an Apache helicopter. Okay, let's get into it.
Iran shot down an Apache helicopter and its two pilots, and Donald Trump responds by saying it's no big deal and went to the Knicks game while the pilots were still in the water. Now, if you missed it last night, Iran shot down an Apache helicopter over the Strait of Hormuz. And today, Donald Trump was asked about it, and he responded to the Wall Street Journal that it's no big deal. The pilots were found alive. Everything is okay. which is absolutely ridiculous. And had any other president done this, the right would be losing their minds right now about respecting the troops and honoring the troops. But it got worse for Trump because Central Command reported that the pilots were rescued at 7:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Donald Trump left for the Knicks game at 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time, which means they were in the water 30 minutes while Donald Trump was off to have himself a good time. Again, if it were anybody else, MAGA and the right would be flipping out. Now, it should be noted that the U.S. is responding. Donald Trump says we must respond, and we are attacking right now. But I expect those attacks to be superficial, and it is wild that Trump just doesn't seem to care. Iran shot down an Apache helicopter and
Okay, so Iran is not taking credit for that. They're not saying that they shot it down. Okay, and I believe them because, quite frankly, when they do things, they not only admit it, they will post pictures because they know that Trump's a liar who lies, and he'll just say if a ship gets struck by Iran and it catches on fire, he'll just say, oh, there was a fire in the laundry room. Okay, so Iran will post the receipts when they do something. So for them to say they didn't do it, I believe they didn't do it. But hold on, because some people think that BiBi had a little something to do with it. Okay, and also, if Iran did that, why is Trump now saying that it's no big deal? Okay, just brushing it off. Please, after all of the trash he talks, yeah, because he likely knows that they didn't do it. That's just my opinion. I can't prove it.
Just shot down an American Apache helicopter over the strait so they can force the United States to fight their battles for them. So Trump came out and said Iran shot down this helicopter, but in every single one of the reports, it talks about how it's still under investigation and they actually don't know who shot it down. And then at the exact same time, Iran comes out and says, hey, that wasn't us. We didn't shoot that thing down. But for some reason, Iran's still getting blamed for it. Why would Iran deny shooting down an American helicopter? Why would they not brag about that like they have everything else? Historically, every part of this battle, every time Iran has seen success and won a battle, they have publicly talked about it. They are not running from the war. They are not hiding from the war. Even the people in the street are saying they don't want a ceasefire. This is Israel's doing, just like they did with the USS Liberty. And on top of it, Israel just got busted planting listening devices all around the White House. Israel has done this countless times in the past and worse. Guys, look up the Levant affair. They planted bombs all across American bases and British bases out in Egypt and blew them up, trying to get England and the United States to fight their battles. They've done this over and over and over again. At what point do we declare Israel the enemy? Because I can guarantee in 5 years, 4 years, or however long it takes, there's going to be a report that comes out in a documentary that talks about how Israel shot down this helicopter. Just like every other incident that's happened in the past. Israel is the enemy of the world, but especially the United States. And put the cherry on top, Israel doesn't only target military structures. In the Levant affair, they blew up British cinemas, American colleges, and even British libraries. These people attack civilians too. American and British civilians, supposedly they're allies. But I'm getting off track. The point here is, if Iran took down that helicopter, they would have claimed it. This is 100% Israel's doing to keep this war going.
Okay, he said what he said, but here's the thing. There is a report and a video, so we're going to get into it. Watch this. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. You see this? Viral video of Iran downing U.S. helicopter was generated by AI. I mean, they have to be so desperate. That further makes me think that BiBi had something to do with it, because why is the U.S. posting a fake AI-generated video trying to frame Iran? Okay, and we know they're trying to frame them because why is there a fake video about it? Okay, it's been debunked. So let's talk about it. U.S. President Donald Trump said on June the 9th that Iran had shot down a U.S. Army Apache attack helicopter while it was on patrol over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the following day, a pro-government Iranian online user shared a video on X allegedly showing the destruction of the aircraft. The clip garnered more than 5 million views. Now, that the video appears to show an Iranian soldier targeting a helicopter with a MANPADS, which is a man-portable air defense system, okay, that launches surface-to-air missiles. The missile hits the helicopter, which then explodes to cheers from soldiers watching the entire scene. Now, Iran used a weapon worth $150 to shoot down a billion-dollar American military aircraft. For the first time, America had met its true adversary. This is what someone wrote on social media after watching the video. Okay, then they say the video, however, is a fake. It contains several inconsistencies, suggesting it was generated by artificial intelligence. For instance, while the soldier is supposedly a member of the Iranian military, he's wearing an insignia with the U.S. flag on his right shoulder. Okay, and then they point that out. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. Another discrepancy is that the soldier's weapon does not match any known defense system in the Iranian military's arsenal. The missile launcher's grip and targeting systems shown in the video differ from those of Manpad's models used by the Iranian armed forces, such as the Misag-1 and Misag-2 and Misag-3, or the Igla. For instance, the Misag-1 is equipped with 2 grips, whereas the launcher in the video has only 1. They say different silhouettes. Now, the final anomaly lies in the silhouette of the downed helicopter. The aircraft in the AI-generated video doesn't match the profile of a real Apache, which features a highly distinctive silhouette, easily spotted from afar. This is clearly visible in a photo captured during a 2024 U.S. Army flight demonstration in Chicago. The actual aircraft features engines on both the left and the right sides of the fuselage that are square-shaped when viewed from the front, and these details are missing from the AI-generated photo. Furthermore, a real Apache is equipped with 4 distinct weapon hard points, 2 on each side, whereas the aircraft in the AI video only has 2. Now, finally, the social media users claim that the downed military Apache helicopter was worth $1 billion is completely inaccurate. While the Apache is indeed a costly and sophisticated attack helicopter, U.S. Department of Defense documents indicate that its unit cost ranges between $26 million and just over $38 million, approximately $22.5 million to $33 million. Okay, so with that all being said, let's go to some of these pictures, and then I'm going to show you the video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Now, as you can see, there is the flag of the United States. Now, why would someone that's a soldier from Iran, okay, why would they be wearing the insignia of the United States with our flag on it? So that's clearly BS. Okay, then they show the difference in whatever this is called. I forget. And then here you see the 2 different silhouettes. The top image is a screenshot of the AI-generated video. Okay, from the AI-generated video. Now, below are several Apache helicopters captured during the Chicago Air and Water Show in August of 2024. Okay, so they do look very much different. Okay, look at that. This one has 2 on each side at the bottom. Okay, you can see those 2 on each side, and this one has only 1 on each side. So definitely not the same helicopter. Okay, so this video is bogus, but now let's take a look at it. Okay, just a whole AI-generated fake arse video. I find it so interesting. Okay, so that further makes me think that, yes, BiBi had something to do with it 9 times out of 10. Okay, because why would Iran post a fake video? Makes no sense. And then for Trump to just blow it off and say, oh, you know, it's no big deal. The soldiers were rescued and all of that. Okay. And I did tell you all that, you know, they're known for doing false flags. And if you, in case you forgot, I've shown you all a myriad of times how they have done false flags, okay, to try to blame things on someone else so that the U.S. gets upset. So you can look it up on Google. It clearly says that. Okay, so now let's go to this next update. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
We are starting with that breaking news out of the White House. President Trump, in really just the last hour and change, saying that the war with Iran could be over soon. He's calling it a settlement. Listen to this.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days.
Okay, so what is in this settlement? President Trump says the deal means Iran is not going to have a nuclear weapon. Details on how that's going to work, TBD. He also says the Strait of Hormuz will reopen when this deal is signed, which could be maybe next week. Now, let me give a little grain of salt. Literally just got handed this statement from Iran. Iran state media, apparently through state media, I believe, said, I'm going to quote you here, reports regarding an agreement are speculative and nothing has been finalized. So perhaps a bit of cold water on this message from President Trump that was a huge shift in tone from what we saw, 4, 5, 6 hours ago. He threatened to basically wipe out this entire island here after back-to-back nights of what are being called self-defense strikes against Iran after.
Okay, so Trump just goes from one extreme to the next because he literally just said, okay, not that long ago, that they were going to take Clark Island and send soldiers, boots on the ground and all of this, making all these threats and everything. And now all of a sudden everything's fine and here comes the deal on the table. Please. How many times has he said this? Someone did a video, I believe I saw it yesterday or the day before, but someone said that he's done this at least 35 times. Told us that, oh, the war's going to be over real quick. Oh, we're almost done. Oh, we're coming to a deal. Manipulating the market and just lying to be lying. Okay, that's what it seems like.
The Iranians downed an Apache military helicopter. So markets also along for the ride. At this point, rallying. Remember, this was about an hour ago before this latest Iran statement came out. We've got team coverage tonight. We've got Matt Bradley in the region. Brian Chung is standing by for all things economy. But let me start with Monica Alba, who is live for us at the White House. Mon, you know, this new statement from Iran says any talk of an agreement apparently is speculative. The president seemed more definitive, but still some question marks on timing here. I mean, is there a deal? Is there a peace agreement or not?
We don't know, Hallie, and that is really the long and the short of it. The president is the one who likes to come out and make these announcements, but as we have seen repeatedly a pattern emerge over the last couple of weeks, sometimes the president puts something out there trying to sort of will it into existence or indicating that things are a bit closer than they are in reality. And this may be an instance of that, or there may actually be a diplomatic breakthrough here that is significant, but we just don't know what's actually in this potential memorandum of understanding. And it's one thing for the president to say that senior Iranian leadership has signed off. He was even asked specifically whether the supreme leader had agreed to this, had looked at the terms and was on board. And the president indicated, yes, that was the case. But what you just read from Iranian state media seems to indicate that there are still some potential hangups here, which has really been the case throughout the entirety of these very fragile negotiations. But here's a little bit more of what President Trump had to say about what he claims could be in this tentative agreement.
Most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing. But we have a signing soon.
And on that question of a signing, Hallie, there are more details that we've asked the White House about there that we haven't gotten clarity on. But remember that it seems like this potential framework, if this is indeed something that is signed, would really just kickstart a more intensive and longer period of negotiations. When we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, we thought it was somewhere in the 60 to 90 day range. So again, it's unclear whether that's what we're talking about here or whether this is going to go back to square one and the president could re-up some of his threats that he was making just hours ago about potentially ramping up military action, only then to bring it back down.
Monica Alba, plenty to watch at the White House. Also plenty to watch, Matt Bradley, from where you are in Qatar. Give us the reality check from where you're standing.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, you just rattled off all the things that President Trump said were in that deal. And you mentioned, of course, that skepticism coming from the Iranian side. We did hear from the president saying it sounded like the supreme leader, he said, had agreed to the deal. Now, we're not so sure, but remember that we also got a comment from the Prime Minister's office of Israel. And he said, although Israel isn't a party to the Memorandum of Understanding, remember that bit, he said that he expressed his appreciation to President Trump for including the commitment to a final agreement that would include the removal of enriched uranium or enriched material, dismantling of enrichment infrastructure, limiting missile production, and ending Iran's support for its terrorist proxy regimes in the region. Now, Hallie, if all of that is indeed in the agreement, if President Trump did in fact say that to Netanyahu, and if all of that is true, that would mean that Iran has basically sold the whole farm. All of those things, everything that was just listed in that statement from the Prime Minister's Office of Israel, that is a wish list of everything that Israel wanted. But that statement started by saying that Israel wasn't a part of these negotiations. So it does seem like that would be a huge set of concessions from the Iranian side, including basically giving up its support for Hezbollah. Remember, Hezbollah and its fight against the Israelis was one of the main sticking points, not just to these negotiations, but even to opening these negotiations in the first place. The highly enriched uranium, much of that is buried underground after those U.S. strikes last June. So a lot of these things really just seem really quite pie in the sky. So maybe the Israeli prime minister has a different view of what is going on. Maybe Donald Trump gave them a different perspective, alternative facts of what was agreed upon in this memorandum of understanding. But hearing from the Iranian side, it really does sound like the Iranians have not agreed to what the president is really presenting as huge concessions from Tehran.
And again, all of this developing in literally the last like 8 minutes or so. Matt Bradley, thank you. We'll check back in with you. Let me get to Brian Chung, who's tracking the markets for us. Wall Street liked President Trump calling off that strike earlier. Question is, how are they going to like the developments after the closing bell?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the broad story throughout the beginning, or really since this conflict began at the end of February, is that when there are signs that this war can go on, then you see the markets go down. And when there are signs that maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel, the markets go up. That's exactly what you saw as the Dow Jones, as you point out, up almost 1,000 points, almost 2% today. And again, the big story going into the 1:30 p.m. Eastern time post on Truth Social that the president was going to suspend those strikes tonight was that earlier this week, when the president began those strikes on Iran, you saw the markets go down. Now, of course, there are a number of reasons for why markets go down, including a few inflation reports that we've got recently that showed a hotter print on the pace of price increases in this country. But again, the concern here is that the president, yes, is looking at the stock market, which is oftentimes a measuring stick for him to judge his own performance and going, okay, well, the Dow Jones is up now 1,000 points almost because of the announcement that we were going to suspend these strikes. But you still have the overall picture, like you see on that screen ahead of you, producer prices. This is how much the retailers that we purchase from have to pay in terms of getting those things into their stores, up 6.5% between May of this year and May of last year. You'd have to go back to November 2022 to see a number that high. Those are things that cannot be reversed easily, despite the president's insistence that things will drop like a rock, inflation will drop like a rock once the conflict is over.
A lot of moving pieces. Brian Chung, thank you very much. Our thanks to Matt and Monica as well.
We thank you for
Is always just trying to manipulate that market is all he's ever doing. And then talking about inflation's going to drop. Inflation's going to drop like a rock. Okay, him and these nefarious analogies. Please make it all make sense. But anyway, let's go to it because, by the way, Scott Jennings said if the Dems win in November, they will wage maximum warfare on Republicans and impeach President Trump on day one. Now, I want to say this to those of you who foolishly keep talking about you're not going to vote and all of that, or you're not going to vote for the Dems. Let me tell you something. If you don't vote, you just want to sit on the couch or whatever, or you're not going to vote for the Dems, well, all you're going to be doing is keeping Trump from going to prison where he needs to be. All you're going to be doing is keeping Trump in office because they absolutely are going to impeach him and the rest of the devils. Also, let's not forget that Steve Bannon said that if they lose the midterms, they're all going to jail. He said everyone in the room was going to jail, including himself. So if you don't want them to go to prison where they all belong, then don't vote. Or don't vote for the Democrats, okay? Be raccoons is all I'm saying, because that's what that sounds like. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. And I'm sure the only ones who really think that are the ones who voted for Trump in the first place. Because some of y'all voted for Trump, period. Okay, but let's continue because President Trump claims settlement to end Iran war has been reached. This is a report from KREM News.
The media shortly after calling off planned strikes on Iran and posting on social media that there's progress towards a deal.
He says a memorandum of understanding could be signed, likely in Europe, in just a few days. Natalie Brand reports tonight.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran.
Speaking in the Oval Office, President Trump touted the makings of an agreement with Iran that he first announced on Truth Social Thursday afternoon.
Most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a very big thing.
The president said the agreement would also reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The news comes just hours after the president threatened on Fox News to launch another round of strikes against Iran.
There will be more bombing tonight. It'll be bigger, more powerful.
The president's announcement comes as the administration has weathered criticism about the war's impact on the economy. Critics point to oil prices contributing to the highest inflation in more than 3 years.
Gas prices, food prices, and the prices of everyday goods have skyrocketed as a result of what Donald Trump has done. And this war hasn't strengthened America's national security, it's weakened it.
The administration has argued the economy will rebound once the conflict ends.
Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before.
The president says the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian-linked ships will remain in full force until the agreement with Iran is finalized. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
At J. McLaughlin, life isn't measured in days.
Cookie says, Queen, why don't you run? Cookie, sit down somewhere, okay? Why would I dare to run, honey? I wouldn't want to be the president of this nefarious country. And also, if I ran and did win, they would take me out real quick, okay? Okay? They would take me out real quick. Please pay attention. And that would never happen anyway. I don't want to be the president of this nefarious country, like I said. All right? I should be, maybe in some political position, like the mayor or something, or run for Congress, but definitely not the president. I ain't got time for it, okay? Then y'all will be sitting up there blaming me when stuff doesn't go right for y'all. Oh, Queen Amadai is a whole raccoon. She didn't get us our reparations. She didn't get us no reparations. She talked all that trash and we still don't have reparations, okay? Never mind that it was nothing I could do because it's all up to Congress. I can hear it all now going in, but let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share.
Iranians acknowledge President Trump saying that he has canceled military action against the country. There still is a good deal of distrust and skepticism. Iranian official and semi-official media is cautioning that so far the country's top leadership has not yet officially signed off on any sort of draft agreement for a memorandum of understanding that would end the hostility between the two countries and at the same time pave the way for larger peace negotiations. However, one of the things that officials here have been acknowledging over the past couple of days was that messages were still being exchanged back and forth, and that some of the gaps had indeed been narrowed. At the same time, the Iranians are saying that any sort of military action now, any more bombardment, would completely kill any of that momentum. The Iranians had also said that if the U.S. continues to strike this country, that there would be severe retaliation from its armed forces. And if there would have been a return to full-on war, that the Iranians would expand that war beyond the Gulf region, potentially to places like the region of the Red Sea and the Mediterranean as well. Nevertheless, the Iranians have said that they prefer negotiations. They want a deal. However, the military here also says that they are prepared for any eventualities. While the Iranians acknowledge President Trump saying that he has canceled military action against the country, there still is a good deal of distrust and skepticism. Iranian official and semi-official media is cautious.
Okay, I'm sorry, beloveds. I'm multitasking. So I was trying to send this to my email so I can show it to you all. So when I was in New York last year for the Diddy trial, there was a nice young lady that I met. Hold on. Darn it. There was a very nice young lady that I met. She was a tenant okay, of the owner of the place where I was staying. Okay, hold on. So she's now running for Congress. And so my friend sent me this. Hold on, I'll show it to you in a second. Let me just send this to my email. My friend sent me this screenshot of how they're trying to paint her as being crazy. They're trying to act like she's crazy, okay? Trying to paint her as somebody who's mentally unstable or something like that, when there's nothing wrong with this lady. But they're doing that because she's not taking APAC money and she's not for It's Not Real, okay? They want the person that's for It's Not Real to win, not her. So they're trying to frame it like she's just some nutcase. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, I'm going to pull this up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I mean, they literally did a whole article on this woman. Here it is right here. Look at the headline. These people are something else. Y'all see that? The headline says, "Whack to the future. Mamdani backs hateful New York House hopeful who thinks even Bernie Sanders isn't radical enough." Then they have a picture of her right there trying to make her look crazy as hell. Hateful New York House hopeful who thinks even Bernie Sanders isn't radical enough. These people are something else. Okay, these people are something else. I just want y'all to pay attention. But hold on. Let me go to one more clip. Queen, I thought you were working on your campaign. Ha! Please. Okay, absolutely not. Absolutely not, beloved. If I was working on a campaign, trust me, you would know it. Okay? You would know it. I haven't even campaigned to you all. So you clearly couldn't have thought that, beloved. I'm not running, okay? Now, here we go. This is her right here. Says she's a doctoral student in sociology at the CUNY Graduate Center. She is primarily interested in studying the ways Black immigrants from Latin America are impacted by the U.S. criminal system and deportation. Her professional background in community organizing work has largely focused on issues of policing, incarceration, and immigrant detention. She holds a BA from Columbia University. Okay, so with that all being said, I find it all very interesting that they're trying to say she's crazy now. But here's the thing, though. She's not joining Congress for us. She's an immigrant. So she's going to be looking out for her people. Okay. She's from the Dominican Republic. All right. So she wants to know what's going down with the immigrants. Now, here's the thing. These Black people in Congress, okay, they absolutely need to be working for us and trying to see what's going on with us, okay, and what they can do to help us. That's what they need to be doing. But what I want you to pay attention to is if these are anybody that's taking APAC money, then 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be working for us. And that's why I said we need to try and vote for the people who are not receiving APAC money. But we definitely need to not vote for the Republicans, and we definitely need to vote. You don't want Donald Trump impeached? Because I do. You all don't want him and his minions to go to prison where they belong? Because I do. Okay, because I do. So the Republicans, no matter what, they have to lose the midterms. And if you don't vote against them, then you're a raccoon, period. Because that means you want Trump to still be in charge. Okay, that means you still want Trump to be in charge, and you don't want him to go to jail, where he clearly belongs. He was all over the Epstein files. Okay, please make it make sense. He was all over the Epstein files. So if you don't care about people's children, you don't care about your own children, you don't care about these nefarious things, then just don't vote, or don't vote against Trump and his minions. Okay, because either one of those, that's what you're dealing with. You are now the PDF file protector. Okay, just like Trump and his minions. That's what they've been doing, protecting PDF files, trying to hide all the information in the files, not trying to be transparent, and you will be complicit in that. Okay, now you may not view it that way, but that's how I view it. Okay, that's how I view it. Now, let's go to Keg's Breath, because as per usual, he had something to say, trying to sound all intellectual, with his foolish ramblings and propagandist words that he spews.
CENTCOM, Central Command, will be busy tonight because President Trump said we will be hitting Iran hard, and we will be. Because Iran has a chance to make a good deal, a great deal, to codify what they said they've been willing to do, and they haven't been willing to do it. So, as President Trump said, they've been tapping. You can see when someone's trying to tap on a deal. Instead, they're going to have tap bombs dropping on key facilities in Iran from the United States of America. And that's not because we want to restart anything we don't have to restart. It's because the War Department is prepared to set the terms to ensure that we get the kind of deal President Trump expects.
He's got a whole lot of tough talk. A whole lot of tough talk is all him and Trump ever do. They never accomplish or meet any goals and objectives. Okay, they don't. That's what they don't do. All they do is talk trash and tell lies. You're right, Love Christie. He is a joke. He's an absolute joke, beloved.
This morning about Iran, and you said that they've taken too long to get to a deal. I want to make sure I quote you correctly. You said that now they will have to pay the price.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that specifically?
Well, we're going to be attacking them very hard.
Resuming bombing?
Yeah, well, we are. Based on the helicopter, I guess we have the right to do that. You know, they shot down a very incredible, actually an incredible machine. And at first they said they didn't do it. Then they admitted they did. It was sort of easy because we have the bomb. We actually have the bomb. Got very lucky that bomb didn't explode. That bomb was lodged in the helicopter. It didn't explode. It was on fire, but it didn't explode. It's just those two guys.
Now I want you to pay attention to how he's lying. He said at first they denied it, but now they admit it. No, they didn't. When did they admit it? And if they did it, if they were going to admit it, why would they lie to begin with? And why did y'all put out that fake AI-generated video, Trump? Please, pay attention. Okay, we're on to you and your lies and nefariousness. Do y'all hear that? He sits there and lies with a straight face every day.
They knew how to fly, but they got very lucky. And then we had the unmanned boat going very, very fast at speeds that you wouldn't want to go. That's why it's unmanned, I guess, because nobody can go in that. But they.
Trump is so stupid. He is so obtuse. Did you all hear what he said? He said the boat going at speeds that you wouldn't want to go. And then he said, I guess that's why it's unmanned. Brady Pines, here he comes. Please pay attention.
Rescued. So both people are, fortunately, the pilots are okay. No, look, I've been working with Iran for a number of months, and they should sign their deal. It's a good deal. It doesn't give them the right to have a nuclear weapon. In fact, it totally prohibits them from ever having a nuclear weapon. And it was just tap. I don't know what they're doing. So.
Oh my goodness. Peg's breath literally said every word that Trump said. Tap. He literally had to mimic that to quote that. Do you see how stupid they both are? This is scary. Okay, stop this ride. I want to get off.
They then shot at our helicopter, very expensive helicopter, by the way, but much more importantly, the two men, fortunately, they're okay. But an amazing rescue. If you ever get a clip, you won't believe the rescue, how cool it was. We want a deal that's meaningful. We want a deal that works. We don't want to just have a Barack Hussein Obama deal, JCPO.
He just had to mention Obama's name. He couldn't go 5 minutes without bringing up Obama. He needs to sit down somewhere. Okay, do y'all hear this? BiBi said, hold on. BiBi said he talks so whimsical at speeds you wouldn't want to go. Yes. The fastest there ever was. We hit the hardest ever been hit before. So what? It's so hard. Yes, because both he and Peg's breath said we're going to hit them hard. Okay, excuse me, but Haven't you already been hitting them hard? Were you hitting them soft all the other times? Like, they are so nonsensical. It is just laughable at best.
Way the worst deal. That was a path to a nuclear. It's the exact opposite. You know, I like on television, they say, oh, they should have kept that deal. First of all, it was over. It was a short-term deal. But that deal was a path to a nuclear weapon. This.
He said the deal that Obama gave him or gave them was a path to a nuclear deal. And then he said the deal was done. It was a short-term deal. Fool, you tore the deal up your first term. Okay, are we in the Twilight Zone here? What is really going on? Is this man insane? He really sounds like it. Ashkan said Trump and Keg's breath are a couple of ticks on a pig besmirching the farmer. Yeah, a couple of ticks on a pig. That's exactly what he looks like. I absolutely cannot with this man. This man is so obtuse. It is sad.
This is a path against a nuclear. You can't have a nuclear weapon. His was a path to a nuclear weapon. They were developing during his administration nuclear weapon. If they.
He's such a liar. Now he says they were developing a nuclear weapon during Obama's administration. How would he know that? First of all, Trump, stop lying. Okay? If he knew that, he would have already said it. Because how long has Obama been out of office? Trump would have been told us that. Because he would have known, because they had people coming to do inspections. And those people who did the inspections, numerous people, they all said that they were not building any nuclear weapons. And he's sitting there lying, just making up stuff. Whew, but you know what? Those lies absolutely work for MAGA, because MAGA is so obtuse and suffers so deeply from cognitive dissonance. They won't go looking for receipts to defy anything that he says, to debunk anything that he says, even though they have to know that he's lying most of the time. Okay, they have to know that, unless they're just so stupid, which some of them are, sadly. But the bottom line is he knows that he can tell them those sort of lies, because even the ones of them who know that he's lying, they're not going to say anything because they're too invested at this point. It's too late to turn back. They can't let everyone know that they've been fooled for so long. Okay, now they're really vested. And the others, well, they're just too obtuse to even realize that it's all lies and BS. They literally believe every word that comes out of his mouth, and they think that the rest of us are lying and that we're conspiracy theorists. Okay, please pay attention. This is so sad. But this is the state of the United States.
Had a nuclear weapon, there'd be no Israel, there'd be no Middle East, and they would have absolutely shot at us. So we'll see what happens. But we hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today, in case you miss it, in case you don't turn on your television set. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers.
He said they keep playing them for suckers. Do you see how what he says makes absolutely no sense? On the one hand, he says they're desperate and they want to settle, but they just don't know how. Okay, and then he'll say they're desperate. They really, really want a deal. They know they need a deal, but they just won't do it. If they needed it so bad, why wouldn't they do it? Okay? Ashkan said, what dimension is he in? Clearly, the Twilight Zone, beloved. And then he says, we're so close to a deal. Like we're right there on the brink. You know what we're on the brink of? I'm so glad you asked. Disaster. Okay, disaster. That's what we're on the brink of. Is he serious? This is all sad. I feel sorry for the people who voted for him, because y'all have to be crazy. You have to be literally crazy. Because this man has no sense at all whatsoever. Okay, just no sense at all. And I find this absolutely egregious. He has to be taken out of office. He has to be impeached and sent to prison. Okay, that's where he needs to be. Okay, we have got to get Trump out of there, no matter what. No matter what. Okay, and then we could say, well, JD Vance will be put in and he's just as bad or worse. Well, he'll be put in, but the bottom line is we need to get the Republicans out of power, period. Okay, I'm sorry. It is so true. We have to get them out of there so they can go to prison. That's where they need to go. They need to be locked up, from Steve Bannon on down to Keck's Breath, on down to Trump. Okay, Pam Blondie. Okay, Cash Patel, Small Change. They all need to be locked the hell up. Okay, for crimes against humanity, or at the very least, war crimes, because we know they've done that. Specifically, Trump and Keck's Breath. Okay, they have absolutely engaged in war crimes. And for that, they need to go down. Okay, they need to go down for that alone. We're not even going to get into the Epstein files. So anyway, like stuff, everyone, please like and share. I'm about to be out of here. I just find it all so interesting. Why does everybody keep talking about, oh, you said Elon Musk? He needs to go too, him and Bill Gates. Okay, he and Bill Gates need to go. Hold on, beloveds. Now, let me go on. Let me go on to the next clip. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm not going to show this. I'm going to have to edit this before I can show you all this video. That was a live that I was listening to on TikTok that I wanted you all to hear. But let's go to this this lady that's talking about the war updates. Okay, here we go. The Lizard King Billy Gates. Exactly. That's him. Bill Gates of hell.
War update. Pick up the phone, stop everything you haven't heard about, but you need to know about. Now, look, there has been a lot that has transpired in like the last, I don't even want to say 24 hours. I'll say about 18 hours, but we're going to say 24 just for the sake of it. We're going to try and cover this fast and feverishly. Oh, if you guys recall, yesterday, Big Orange threatened to blow Iran to smithereens, blow the civilization off of the map, yada, 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 yip, yip, yip. At this point, we all know how that goes, right? And so anyway, once that happened, Big Orange actually did blue yucca over there in the Strait of Hormuz for about 20 minutes, okay? And they were like, okay, we're done, okay? That's enough of that. And Iran said, but we're just getting started. Iran started firing off long-range ballistic, and they targeted F-16s, F-35s, F-15s, and control centers, and hit like 5 U.S. bases. An air base in Kuwait, I think an air base in Jordan, the U.S. Air Force base in Bahrain, and we're getting through the interceptors. And then CENTCOM was like, yeah, Iran is firing off, but none of them are getting through. And Iran said they not. So then Iran started dropping video footage to the media. And this morning, when I went and looked, I'm talking about morning, Central Standard Time this morning, like at 9, 10 o'clock this morning, you can still see the long-range radar systems, American long-range radar systems, ablaze. This is like $1 billion apparatus that they've destroyed, y'all. They really laid it out in Jordan. Big Orange said he's going to invade Karg Island. And we've talked about Karg Island before and the importance of Karg Island. And Iran said, oh, yeah, pull up. We've been waiting on you. Okay. So when Big Orange starts talking smack about invading Karg Island, it has a negative impact on our markets. Not only the oil markets, but the stock market as well here, and lots of stock markets all over the world. So then Big Orange comes back and he was like, yeah, I was going to blow the shit out of Iran, but because they're willing to work a deal and the Ayatollah is going to sign off on it, I'm not going to blow them to shit. I'm not joking, y'all. That's literally what he said. Hey, now would be a good time to mention that if you need help making money and you need, it to be taken slow and you need help from the beginning, like you're like, I don't know where to start, you need foundational training, you should come into my KE cohort. I marked the price all the way down to $9.97 and you get access for a year. So if you do the math, that's not even $90 a month. I think it's like $83 a month is what it translates to. Yeah, go click the link in my bio. Or you can DM me the word Kingdom Essentials and I'll get you a link so you can get the massive discount because you're going to need it because our prices are going to be up for quite a while. Anyway, so then Big Orange comes out, but they're willing to make a deal, and the Ayatollah is going to sign off on it tonight. And so Iran was like, we don't know nothing about that. We don't know who he's talking to when he's talking about making these deals. We've already told y'all we're not negotiating with America. And Big Orange was like, well, you can ask, it's not real. They know. Chat, it's not real was like, we don't know what he's talking about either. And Big Orange was like, well, you know, I was going to make a move on Iran, but the American people are scared. They don't want to do it. So now it's our fault. It's the American people's fault. He goes on to say multiple times that Iran has already lost. He actually kept saying, Iran is finished. Iran is finished. They're finished. They're finished. They're already in submission. They just don't know it yet. And Iran was like, submit these nuts. And so that's where we are. So it's going to be an interesting evening tonight. Call y'all back with a regular news update because there's lots for us to talk about outside of the war in Iran.
Okay, I find it so interesting because just like she said, you know, Trump just flip-flop back and forth, basically. First of all, he's saying that they're close to a settlement. Iran doesn't say the same thing. Okay, it doesn't say the same thing. And then he's talking about blowing them to smithereens at one moment, and then the next moment they're coming to a deal. How does that even make sense?
With the United States. Iran has insisted no ceasefire deal with the United States has been finalized after President Trump declared a settlement to end the war was likely to be signed in a few days. Mr. Trump called off attacks, which were planned for last night, after claiming the whole Middle East is very happy over the agreement and promising the Strait of Hormuz would be opened as soon as we have it signed. Iran has insisted no ceasefire deal with the United States has been
Just lying to be lying, clearly. Okay, there is no deal on the table. They don't trust him. And then he says one thing and does another. And that's why they don't trust him. He's just a liar who lies, okay? This man's sitting up here making up stuff as he goes, which I find also nefarious. All right, so Ashkan said, did you see that reporter's side eye? That was gold. Because, you know, at this point, these people realize they cannot take this man seriously. Okay? They cannot take him seriously. He's just a liar for no good reason. Okay, Blessed Beautiful says, it's all stock market manipulation. Yes! And I know people can't keep falling for this. That's all he's doing is manipulating the markets. Just saying things that are absolutely a whole load of BS. But hold on, because I have something else I want you all to pay attention to. So how many of you, please put a 1 in the chat. How many of you remember about 5 or 6 years ago, I told you not only about the voice of God technology, but I showed you a video. There were some people in a small town who said that they were hearing voices. And they felt like they were being programmed or that there was someone purposely doing these things to them. There was a group of these people, at least 3 or 4. Do you all remember that? Once in the chat if you all remember that. Because now they're saying that there's a new technology. It's called voice to skull. Okay? And there's people in certain towns saying now, more people saying that they're being affected by this. I want you all to pay attention to how dangerous this is. Okay, I want you to pay attention. This is psychological warfare. Because if they're doing this to people, the government that is, if they're doing this to people, they can manipulate person's thoughts. Okay, I want you all to pay attention to how dangerous this is. So let's go to the video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
All right, so I wanted to let you guys know that it's very likely they're going to start deploying this weapon. This is a real weapon. It is real. It is real. They're going to start deploying this weapon more and more. And if people are telling you they're hearing these things, you might want to take them seriously.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR 6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain? It sounds
like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond is describing is called gang stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
Bob Stansfield says his experience was similar and started a decade ago.
They were active in following me around here, and I started hearing the voices a little bit after the vehicular stalking.
Randall Ringer says the voices started when he was undergoing chemotherapy.
The first thing that was said was Randall Ringer. And I sat up straight and I went to into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, looked myself in the eyes, and I said, did that really happen?
Bond says he's found more than 300 victims locally and is tracking others across the state through billboards. In Johnson Valley, a Freedom House just opened to help people who believe they are being targeted.
To many of you who find yourselves the object of covert harassment, that there is hope and that you are not alone, and that we are striving to find legislation and we're working towards freedom for all.
Derek Robinson leads a national group called Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. He says he knows who's playing mind games.
Rogue government officials that are sponsoring this, also corrupt business officials, and private citizens.
And he also told us how.
Most of it is delivered by microwave, and I believe it's satellite delivered, whether someone is on a remote location using a laptop or next door using the desktop.
Bond says neurotransmitter chips that run off body electricity have been inserted into some people.
And they assign cell phone numbers to them. The cell phone numbers are then run through a computer, and a computer translates your thoughts. This crime has been available to the military for 60 years.
Yeah, so I used to think all of these people were crazy, not so much anymore. But one thing I was thinking as I was watching that, do you think it's possible that they might put a voice into a whole bunch of modern day Christians' heads? A bunch of people that know that Jesus is coming back. Do you think it's possible that you might be hearing a voice that you think is God? And it might not be, but it's part of Project Bluebeam. Do you think that's a possibility? Anyway, type your comments below.
Okay, you all heard that. He said if they did that to a bunch of Christians to get them prepared for Project Bluebeam, that sounds very plausible. Specifically, if those of you who remember my reports on Project Bluebeam, okay, that absolutely sounds plausible. So here's the thing. So voice-to-skull technology, also known as V2K, is not used by the government. This is what they say. Hold on, let me read this first. Voice-to-skull technology, often called V2K or microwave hearing, refers to a theoretical or experimental method of transmitting sound directly into a person's head using electromagnetic radiation, bypassing the standard eardrums. How does it work? Well, it works on the principle that pulsed microwave radiation can be absorbed by tissue in the head and cause a slight rapid expansion of tissue. Now, this creates a pressure wave that travels into the inner ear, allowing the target to perceive the sound as a click, buzz, or spoken word. Feasibility. So while the underlying physics of the microwave auditory effect is a documented scientific phenomenon, experts note that the technology cannot project complex, high-definition conversations into the brain without using dangerous levels of radiation that will cause severe physical burns. So, okay, and what's the point? You mean they wouldn't do that? I absolutely believe they would. Said they couldn't have high levels, high definition conversations in the brain without using dangerous levels of radiation that would cause severe physical burns. I believe they would absolutely do it. But hold on. Then they say, I asked the question, why would the government use voice-to-skull technology on people? They then say, which I don't believe, voice-to-skull V2K technology is not used by the government. The concept originates from the military fray effect, where high-powered microwaves can induce the sensation of sound. However, within the medical and scientific communities, these experiences are universally attributed to medical or psychological conditions, such as auditory hallucinations. So those people all were having the same auditory hallucination at the same time. Please make it all make sense. The U.S. government does not employ such technology on private citizens. Didn't that man just say that the people that would do this would be the U.S. government's corrupt businessmen and private citizens? And that would be private citizens who have a whole bunch of money, I'm sure. But why would they be doing this? Likely to program us to do the things they want us to do, like support their businesses, spend our money with their businesses. Okay, keep us beholden to them, to keep us enslaved. Okay, economically, if nothing else. So that's just my thoughts on it. But to sit there and say the government doesn't use it, well, if the government doesn't use it, why the hell do they need it? Why was it even invented or created? Okay, absolutely, I believe the government used it. So anyway, they sound ridiculous. All right, so with that all been said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And also, again, if you haven't seen the morning broadcast, please go and check that out at your leisure. And each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
With that flavor all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got